here in Las Vegas. Our final talk, at least in this room for today, is with Mr. Loeffler. He's going to be talking about the end of the beginning. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know where to begin myself. I'll just let him begin. Mr. Loeffler, the floor is yours.
It's too easy to give up. Despair creeps in everywhere. You're taking a beating every day. That's part of what modern life is. And the important part is to stay standing and to keep fighting. I've had a real good time doing the stuff that we've done over the last 10 years. And I want to thank B-Side specifically because all of us, are kind of the last bastion of old school hacker talks. Something that's accessible and affordable, places where people can come and share ideas, not be afraid of things. And it's important to carry things forward and see how things develop toward the future. On a personal note, I would like to thank the collective that I've been part of. They've been very good to me. I'm lucky enough that I get to stand up here and brag about great projects that I didn't do much of, which is pretty wild because they're really great projects and I get to kind of stand up here and go, how cool. So thanks to all of them and thanks to everybody who's been part of Four Thieves over the last 10 years. There have been hundreds of people who've come and gone, and I'm grateful for every single one. Now, for anybody who knows me, I don't have stage fright. This is not what I'm scared about. What I'm scared about is I don't know what's gonna happen next. Usually, when I do these sorts of shticks, I have a pretty set pattern. Things are kind of set. I have all the magician's tricks that are like ready to go. And that is not the case today. So just give me some slack. This is gonna get weird. I hope you're all game for that. We cool? Yeah. Here's an example of what my shtick typically is. I'll find some horrible person who took some very important life-saving medication. We'll sort of look at what they did, and we hijack what they're keeping barriered from people who need it. Then the next thing that I do is we take it and come on. Then I pass it to the crowd. This was 2016. I made these pills on stage. Here I am throwing them. And then the next thing I did was I called his phone. And that was fun. And then 2 years later, I sort of repeated the process. This is Heather Bresch. She was bearing the EpiPencil. And again, we made our own hijacked version. And then again, I passed it out. I hit somebody in the head. I still feel bad about that, but it was a really dark room. And then I called her. So I've got like a standard shtick. And I did this again 2 years ago. This was really fun. This is the hepatitis C cure. That's Daniel O'Day, and we managed to take this exorbitantly priced medication, make it for super cheap, and I did the same thing. We passed it out. Somebody got this bottle of pills. It was a full course of treatment, and then I called him on the phone. It was kind of a wild moment. He didn't want to chat. It got recorded. You can watch it, but it was a good time. But I don't really have my standard thing. And I was talking with a member of the collective last week, and I was kind of freaking out. I was like, what if I don't have anything new to present? What if, what if I don't have anybody to call? Like, what do I do? And this particular person was nice enough to say this. And I said, I freak out like this every time? Yeah. So I checked with somebody else. They said, look, one of the other people, they said I freak out every time. And there was this sort of cascade of conversations I had where I would sort of realize that clearly there was a joke that everybody knew but me. So, let me see if I can pull out one more surprise. So, we're so proud of all the work we've done. This was the EpiPencil. It was great. And the big deal was not that we made it and passed them out. The big deal is that it's very easy to do. And lots of people did it. This is a simple thing, off-the-shelf parts. It's very cheap. It takes no skill to put together. And there are people who are alive instead of dead because they copied this work, which was the idea. That's spectacular. And proud as we are of that, that's kind of not the big deal. But again, here was another one. We figured out a way to put abortion drugs on a business card. And now, again, it wasn't the big deal that we did that, although we made a bunch of them and we passed them out and we put them in some interesting places. The big deal is that this has been copied. People have done this over and over and over again, and there are tens of thousands of cards that we didn't make and were not involved in that are now all over the world. That's a big deal. And yet, that's not the biggest deal. Still, all of these projects, again, I'm so happy. This is so fun. Most of you have not seen this. This is a custom holster that was made for me when we were doing the DIY HRT project to hold this 70s subcutaneous injection gun. This was custom made. Shout out to the guy who made this. This was so fun. And we did a wonderful project on DIY HRT. Again, one of these things, one of the few places where you see DIY medicine actually happening. And pleased as we were that we figured out how to do that, and pleased as we were that we were able to hand out some things, the really big deal is that people are doing this themselves. Spoiler alert, one of the few places that medicine hijacking happened before us was with trans people. So credit where due, legit OG biohackers beat us to the punch, and we follow their footsteps. So, this was another one that those of you who saw us at Sky Talks last year saw. This is GSK 744. It's marketed as cabotegravir. This is a 4th generation antiretroviral. And we figured out a way to make it, and I had some, and I passed it out. And again, very fun, we're very pleased, but not the big deal. These were the pills. Aren't they cute? They're purple. This is the micro lab. Of our projects, this is the flagship. This is an automated programmable chemical reactor that will take a program, run it, and do all the hard parts of the synthesis. And yeah, we made some of these, and we passed them out, and we made some stuff with them. But the big deal is that already people have made their own versions, they've forked it, it's on GitHub, it's really well documented. Some guy in Germany used it as his capstone project, as his degree program. Last week, a guy on another continent, in another country, used it to make metformin, okay? And these are pictures that I was sent. This is a coffee filter, okay? He did this in his kitchen using the microlab. And he made metformin, and I know what this looks like. Typically, people are like, oh my God, would you? Well, he took it to a lab and had it analyzed. I don't know if you know how to read an NMR, but it's 99.4% pure from something he put together in his kitchen. For those of you who don't know, that's over 10 times the purity of what you would get from a pill that you got from a pharmacy. So there's a benchmark worth noting. And as pleased as we are about all of these projects, that's not the big deal. The big deal is that we show that it's possible. It's not so much what we did, it's how we did it. The fact is, everybody said we couldn't do it. And over again, I'm sorry. This is a big deal for me. the wonderful people that I work with overcame everything, showed everybody that things that seemed impossible were possible. And I want to show you how. So, here's how you do this. Let's tear the curtain. I want you to see how the trick works. Now, a lot of people ask this. They're like, oh my God, you're doing such great work. Why would you do this? Well, it's really important to do this. If you end up being the institution you were trying to supplant, you fucked it up wholesale. And that happens way too often. So often people who are trying to build movements break the very movements that they built because they want them to last forever. I've been very lucky that I worked with some very visionary people who understood from the start 10 years ago that the goal had to be to disband. If you're doing any humanitarian work, by definition, your business is to put yourself out of business. Your job is to make yourself obsolete. Because if you're still doing this stuff in a decade or two, the bus left. You missed it. It's over. You lost. If you stop fighting. So, this is the big deal. And I know everybody in this room understands this because the magic of open source, the ability to copy a project that somebody has documented well, it's so fun because now so many people have done so many projects and they're so well documented. You think about something, you're like, oh God, I wish I could build blank. And then you look online, somebody's done it. And then you can just do what they did and recreate it. Here's the problem. We're the only ones doing that with pharmaceuticals, and that needs to change. So, welcome everyone. You're the collective now. So, let me show you a few tricks. First thing to do is you need to tap into the thing that you're passionate about because this is difficult. It takes a lot of work and it's largely thankless. But if you can figure out something that angers you enough or builds your passion enough or makes you happy enough, and then you figure out how that matches with what you know how to do, maybe collect a few friends along the way, you can get it done. But you have to not give up. So, here's what's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying I can predict the future, but probabilistically, this is what's going to happen. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, you're going to stumble across something. It's going to be a pop sci article. It's going to come up in your feed. There's going to be a thing, and you're going to see some article that says something or other about some magical thing that's not available. And you're going to go, And what you need to do is you need to go to the bottom of that article where it says where the original research came from. And that's going to point you somewhere, and then you need to go to the bottom of that, find out where the original research was published, and eventually you'll get to the scientific literature. Now, problem with scientific literature is oftentimes it's paywalled, but we have some friends who have done some things about that. And you look for the DOI, I imagine most of you know this trick, and you can go download it. Then you read what other people did. Mind you, they're humans. They're not much different than you are. And you just do what they did. Now, I know that sounds a little simplistic. It's not simplistic. It's difficult. There's a lot of work that goes into that. But that's kind of it. So, if you're looking at a medicine, medicines come into being through a very specific pipeline. Somebody has an idea for a mechanism of action, then somebody tries it in a petri dish, then they try it in animals, eventually it gets tried in humans, all right? When you find the thing that you want, it's gonna be in one of these stages, and proportionally more difficult if it's further to the left. So, trials look like this. They have 3 or 4 phases, depending on how you count. The first one is just to make sure it's not super toxic and doesn't kill people. The second one is to make sure it actually has some therapeutic effect. And then the third one is to make sure that it does better than the current leading brand. This is a very strange benchmark, and it's where a lot of drugs fail. If you have a drug that works really, really well, but not for the majority of the population, it sits on a shelf. If you've got a drug that works really, really well, but only in one sector of the gender spectrum, it sits on a shelf. And there are oodles of these things waiting to be hijacked. So, what do you do with this? Well, 3 standard ways that you can hijack a drug. And these are the 3 ways that we hijack drugs. The first one, of course, is not very novel. If it's available in another country, you just buy it. If it's already prepackaged, there are plenty of people who are churning out drugs and they don't much care who they sell to. Second thing, you can buy the active pharmaceutical ingredient. It's usually a white powder. I know what you're thinking. But you just put it into pills, or you formulate it into whatever delivery mechanism is necessary, and these are standard things. You're just replicating what would be done in a factory. The hardest, most difficult way, of course, is to do the chemistry and synthesize it. But again, this has a standard methodology. You go through, you find the chemical literature where that drug has been written about, you find the patents where they wrote about how they manufacture it. It's an instruction set. It has to be legally. Now, oftentimes it's poorly written, but that's all it is. Now, these last 2, we did. Chemhactica is a tool that will allow you to reverse engineer a synthesis pathway for a given drug. You drop it in, and it's a smart machine. Not an LLM, by the way. But it uses some machine learning to build it, that it goes through the past several hundred years of chemical literature, and it looks for synthesis pathways that it can combinatorially connect, and it gives you the easiest, cheapest way to create a given molecule. And you can give it guardrails if you don't want it to order anything that's controlled, or if you don't want it to order anything that's too expensive, or things that are toxic to humans, you can put that in. We host this now, and you can rip it, and you can mirror it, and you can run it wherever you want. And then you can plug it into the recipe press, which takes those procedures and turns them into programs that then run on the microlab. All of this is available for free. Just go on our website and clone it. That's what it's for. But this is the important part. If you don't clone it, it won't do anything. If it just stays like a cool idea that happened for a while, then this is over. And so you all need to decide if you want to see this keep happening, and you just have to decide to do it. Where do you get drugs? Anywhere. There are so many places. If you want to buy chemicals, there are so many people who are dying to sell to you. Most of these sites are aggregators. You put in a CAS number that talks about what chemical you'd like, and it just pops up a list of vendors who are dying to sell you stuff. Send them an email. Be polite. It helps. Make a deal, get some stuff in the mail, make your drugs. You should do it. I know you're all thinking of some drug where you're like, oh God, that means I don't have to talk, I don't need to go through some doctor who treats me like a used car. Yes, just go do it. Just go do it. Now, one thing to watch out for. Chemicals are graded in terms of their purity. There are a bunch of different weird names. There's not a strict hierarchy. The definitions are weird, and it makes almost no sense. Fixed it for you. The blue category. If you get drugs that have the purity that is in the blue category, you can just take it because it's safe. If you've got stuff in the green category, if you need it for 10 or so days, anything that's impure in there is not going to build up. These ones in the red category, probably don't put them in your body. If you come across something that has only made its way to the animal model, You're going to have to convert because humans are not like these other ones, but this is the standard model that they use to design the human trials. So if a human trial hasn't happened, just make your own human trial the way they would have. Yours is going to be better too, because it's going to be tailored specifically to you. Now, how do you check your dosage? Here's how. You've got this zone over here where things are going to hurt you. And then you've got this zone down here where things aren't going to happen. So between this point and this point is going to be your target dosage. So what do? Start at the left, work your way up. And there's a standard methodology for this as well. So you start converting, you start at that minimum, and then you use the Fibonacci sequence. I promise you I didn't make this up. You just ramp up. You start, then you double it, then if that doesn't work, you do that again times 1.5. If that doesn't work, 1.33, and then 1.3 over and over again until either you give up because you decide it's not going to work or it does something. And this way you can do an N=1 real-time adaptive trial on yourself, no institution needed. Now you get your drugs in the mail and you're like, how do I know they actually sent me what I ordered? Well, a few years ago when we were doing the DIY HRT thing, the brilliant people that I work with developed a set of systems by which you can test drugs without having to send them to a lab. You can do sharp melting points, you can do this analog, there's a digital way that you can control it, you can do reagent tests. These are off the shelf, designed for testing street drugs, or for like $30 you can build yourself a Raman spectrometer. All of these things are detailed, you can go use them, and you don't have to trust anybody. Trust but verify. All of these things are usable. Remember, you're just replicating. If you wanted to invent a new drug, I would be like, wow, okay, that's hard. But if you're just trying to replicate a drug that's already on the shelf, that's been done hundreds of thousands of times. You're just replicating it properly. The hard part's already done. Now, we're going to do a little exercise. When you hear this, you keep this phrase in the chamber. Now we're gonna try it, okay? That's impossible. You can't make that medicine. Oh my God, that's so difficult. You shouldn't do things that the doctor didn't order. You can't dismantle the racist patriarchy and make medicine free for everyone. That's impossible. I think we're gonna be okay. You want to create a collective? You should probably name it. You can name it whatever you want, but here's the system we used. Pick one from each category. Get a number, get a word, get another word. Then move on. Then the next part is you got to share it with the world, because that's the thing, right? Anybody who ever knows, oh yeah, my guy figured out a fix for blah, 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 big, bug, and didn't post it, you have to share it with everyone. And I know some of you are saying, Michael, I know you work with world-class designers who did all of that for you. You didn't do it. Yeah, I know. They're so awesome. I'm so lucky. But guess what? This is yours too. We have a full branding guide. And because there's no Thieves Vinegar Collective anymore, and it's everybody's, this is yours. There's specific fonts, colors, and there's an entire repo with high-res pictures of everything we've ever used, and it's for you. There's a QR code. You're welcome. So brand your stuff. No reason not to. Thieves is just whatever you decide it is. Now, for every project that we've managed to make happen, there are dozens that didn't work. Here are a bunch of them. There are so many. There are so many. And these are just ridiculous. There are drops you can put in your ears that make you regrow your hearing. I need that desperately. There's a way that you can make a naloxone prodrug so that you could shoot it up along with an opiate, and it won't kick in until you stop breathing because it only deploys in hypoxic environments. And the list goes on. When I said earlier, I know you're thinking of a project, and you said, no, I can't think of a project. Well, let me tell you, there's a long list. Here's every project that we didn't finish for the past 10 years. It's a huge database. Free to download. It's a Zotero database. Every single one of the relevant papers is there, and you can search it. It's structured. Go nuts. You say you don't have anything to work on? Yeah, you do. There's a lot. A lot of things need attention. Poke through. You'll find something. You'll find something. And that'll stay up. And then this is the thing, right? It's like, God, we should really release something. But again, what if there's nothing? Is this enough? I'll tell you a little story. We had this project that some of you have heard about called the Tooth Fairy Project that was just like, it was so promising. It was something that you were going to be able to brush your teeth with once and never get another cavity for the rest of your life. And this piece of infrastructure was built with the sole purpose of being able to share this technology. Now, it just had to be rebuilt, so it's gonna, there's like a please be patient, and it'll be offline during DEF CON, but it'll be back on next week. But it's a set of forums. And it's there so that everybody can be in touch. If you're too introverted to make eye contact with somebody you haven't met yet, sort of nod, try and make friends, just log on. It's a Tor hidden service. Nobody knows who you are. Try and connect. It's easier when you have people around. This is a shortened URL that connects to the Onion service. I'll wait a minute because everybody's taking pictures. I'll try and pass this out around a couple other ways, but if you're taking pictures and you find it, please share it with everybody, because this is how we're gonna keep the band together once everything's over. And what happened to Tooth Fairy? Like, why didn't it work? It's such a long story, and if I only have 45 minutes, and I wish I could get into it. But we had a cool logo. I mean, isn't this guy cute? We had this too, which I thought was wonderful. And, you know, it was one of those projects that was 2 weeks away for 8 years. And then this happened. Now, for those of you who know how to read this, over here where there's nothing, there's supposed to be nothing. And over here where these big blocks, there's supposed to be big blocks. Again, I can't get into how this goes, but I have covered it in past lectures, and anybody who wants to chat about it, find me afterwards at the bar, and I will happily regale you. How many people know about this project? Show of hands? Okay, cool. So, a handful. I'm glad. Because I only have 2 of them. So, who's done some biology and knows how to culture anaerobes? Come on, where are those hands? Now, I want to stress something. When I say I only have 2 plates, I mean I only have 2 plates. Not like I only brought 2 plates. These are the only 2 plates. So, somebody's got to step up and take this from me, or I can go throw it in the trash and it'll never go anywhere. All right, please, step up. You culture anaerobes? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to pass it here. Thank you. And this is the important thing. It doesn't require us to perpetuate. Now, I might be able to get more. I'm hoping that that happens. Again, it's a long story. Find me on Polyester Path. Find these people on Polyester Path, and go trade it amongst yourself. And please, cure the most common infectious disease in humans, because it's right there. Now, this is the other thing, right? It's like in the past, I've tried so hard to call these executives, and it sometimes works. I have not told anybody what I'm about to do. Like, literally 0 people. And it's probably not going to work. So I'm not even going to say who I'm calling, again, because it's probably not going to work. And if it works, again, if I told anybody, they would have tried to talk me out of it. But I figure you came all this way into the desert for some entertainment, and it would be a real drag if I didn't at least make an attempt. If it doesn't work, I'll say who I was trying to call, but let's just try this.
Yeah?
Mr. Secretary, this is Dr. Michael Laufer from the Thieves Vinegar Collective. I'd like to volunteer our services to help make America healthy again. Do you have a minute to chat? Hello? Well, that was a surprise. If anybody wants to start the GoFundMe for my bail, like right now. Okay, sorry, yeah, I didn't think that would work. I hope you all are entertained. Okay, moving on. Come on. Right, we should have something to release, right? We should. I might have one more thing. We've been talking about this for a long time. And I've only ever really shown the cover. Progress is slow, was slow for a long time, but it's real now. Our current word count is at 150,000. It's just over 400 pages. And I just got sort of a proof printed for me. And I'm pretty excited about it. It covers a lot of things. I'll show you the table of contents here. Kind of quickly, it's broken down into 5 parts. The first part concerns emergencies. The second part concerns acute things where you have some sort of something that came up, but then you have some things, yeah, we got a lot of pithy writers on the staff, yeah. So then you've got things that are long-term, and you have things that are chronic, and then there's a 5th section called graceful exits, which is dealing with death. And then we have a lot of appendices, a lot of referential things. And this is just about every trick we've ever come across that is useful. And that's why I went through a lot of this stuff earlier kind of quickly, because not only have I covered it in other talks, but it's been very well documented. In the end of the book, there is a bibliography, and it looks like this, where there'll be a little blurb by us, a picture of the book, information, and then an excerpt for most of them. And right now, we're hosting a reader on the site that will show you an excerpt. Now, we're not done, okay? We are eyeballs deep in editing. It's probably going to take another month or 2 to finish. But you can see some of it, including the table of contents and the bibliography, which is a couple hundred books. And the bibliography leaked, and some wonderful person somewhere packaged it into 3 torrents. I'll step out of the way. You can have every single one of these books that we use to research our book, and you can just download for free. Thank you, whoever the fuck you are. We are forever grateful. Round of applause for whoever that torrent person is. Again, also these QR codes are in the book at the end of the bibliography, so you should be able to use them if your picture didn't come out. Now, also on the site, because we don't have the book to release yet, we have these wonderful lists that you can sign up for. The first one is, of course, If you want to get it digitally, we will be hosting it in perpetuity for free, and you can get that. So if you put your email here, you'll get a notification with a download link when it's ready. If you'd like a physical book, you can sign up over here. And thirdly, if you want something super fancy and you want a fine-bound edition, you can sign up over here. And we hope you like it. Now, I have to mention this briefly. Currently, for the regular book, we have a deal with the print-on-demand service. If you notice over here, what we've done is we've diddled the price until our cut is nothing. So this is cost for us. That's ridiculous that it's $23. But the good news for us is that there's no money on the front end, no logistics. You click through, you pay them $23, and you get a copy of our book. Now that's fine, and we'll do it if needed. However, there is another option, which is we could get it printed for cheap if it looks like enough people would be interested. But that has to work volumetrically. So if you get all your friends to sign up, we might be able to print it for half that, less maybe. We'd be able to give a bunch away. It would be really great. But we're going to gauge it by how many people sign up on the list. So share it around, and if enough people do, then maybe we get lucky. I hear this a lot. And you know, sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, what do I do once everything's over? Like, it's like when the Grateful Dead broke up. Like, do I need to get a second pair of pants? I have to stop living in my car. And I don't quite know. But maybe if you all like the book, we can get around and do some more together. And the point of all of this is that we showed you it's possible. Everything is possible. There's nothing out there that you can't hijack. Any of you who are in security know that nothing is truly secure. And gosh, it's science. The whole point is that it's replicable. If it weren't, you wouldn't be able to do it. And so, being in America, I thought it apropos to utilize this wonderfully American phrase. Somewhere around, there'll be stickers circulating like this. They glow in the dark. And I would like to add to this very American phrase a second related, very, very American phrase. So, it's yours now. It's up to you to do or fail. Let's keep it going. Keep each other healthy. Keep each other safe. I'm not taking questions, but you can buy me a drink downstairs. Thank you again all so much.
Thanks again, Mr. Loeffler. Thanks, everyone.